personally have understood, and I think now we should now talk to the owners, the register members of that company of Kiri.
Thank you very much. No, before you start, Babu, because you've already...
Just the last word, it's not a harsh one.
Robbie, and then we'll have yourself.
Thank you, Chair. It's good also I say something before Mr. Murade leaves this committee. Mr. Murade, I'm also a member of Jubilee. And my advice to you as our Vice Chair, use your title well.
Chair, that's out of order.
Robbie, no, Honorable Babu. Mr. Robbie, I had already made a ruling on this. And in fact, I had even... No. Listen, if you want to give someone political advice, this is what you can do. This party or any other party has a constitution. In their constitution, they
should respect his boss.
They should get their delegates conferences, and in those delegates conferences, they can lecture Mr. Murade on what it is. For right now, no. For right now, as we are here, our role is not at all to advise people on how to lead their political lives. All right, let's just
not an advice. Yes. Now, I just want to say, next time, don't get involved to companies which you say maybe...
that's not your duty.
No, Honorable Babu, I think...
Respect your Vice Chairman.
No, Honorable Babu, unless you have also defected.
Babu, what is your interest?
I will explain shortly.
Robbie, is there something else you want to add that is related to this?
Thank you,
If
Chair.
he needs your advice, I'm sure you guys can meet on the corridors and you can give each other friendly advices. Babu.
Thank you, Chair. Number one, I've been asked a very serious question of what my interest is. Number one, Chair, the main aim why we are investigating this KEMSA issue is to bring to book those who stole money. The reason why I'm talking like this, and I've just looked at social media, Twitter, I've seen myself trending that I'm defending Honorable Murade. The reason why I'm doing it, Chairman, is because Honorable Murade was never given a tender worth 4 billion and they never supplied. So there was no 4 billion money involvement. Kenyans should know clearly. We fight those who stole money.
All right.
Thank you.
I think, Rashid, let's have the next witness, all right? Thank you very much, Mr. Murade.
But just to conclude, Chair, it's very sad when we allow this kind of innuendo, like when those headlines from the newspapers, or COVID billionaires, and then you want to treat some of us as this poster boy of that business. I have never supplied not even a single mask or a PPE or anything to do with KEMSA. And it is so sad when even my relatives now think I'm a COVID billionaire, and everybody who has a small problem is calling me to give them money. And you have put me into a lot of trouble. Thank you, Chair.
Let's call in the next witness.
Mr. Chair, we have to have an internal.
We will definitely have an internal. Media allow us to just, you can leave your cameras, switch them off, and then so that for purposes of timing.
Lakini katika taifa la Kenya tunasikia ya kwamba tutafute BBI na mizigo yote tutaongezewa. Mheshimiwa Spika, tutaongezewa ushuru kwa sababu ya kulipa wabunge 650. Mheshimiwa Spika, tutaongezewa mizigo ya kodi. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni jambo la kusikitisha sana. Tunapokaa hapa, waheshimiwa, na waomba tufikirie mwananchi kwanza. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi naamini ya kwamba hakuna, Mheshimiwa Spika, aliyesema anahitaji wabunge 650 katika bunge la 13 linalokuja. Mheshimiwa Spika, ndio maana tunasema ripoti hii ama bill hii, Mheshimiwa Spika, ni ya kukataliwa na wananchi kule nje. Nina imani leo wananiona ya kwamba watakapopitisha watakaoumia ni wananchi. Sisi tutakuwa starehe hapa hata kama tuko 700 watatulipa. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka niseme wananchi kule nje wajipange na wajue ya kwamba huu ni mzigo wao, si mzigo wa wabunge ambao wamekaa starehe ndani ya bunge hili letu la taifa. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka niwasihi, wakati kama yote yataenda mpaka yawarudie wao. Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka niwaombe, nataka niongee na taifa ya kwamba huu mzigo hakuna atakayeutoa kwa mabega yao isipokuwa wao. Watakaoweza kufanya hivyo ni wananchi wenyewe. Asanteni sana.
Next is Honorable Orekenta, member for Narok North.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm greatly honored to get this opportunity to also contribute to this very historic motion. Honorable Speaker, the history of this country is full of instances and constitutional moments when this country really could have put things right. Honorable Speaker, just before independence, we had the Lancaster House Conference. And that was a conference that divided Kenya down the middle. And that was when land rights were actually destroyed. Because during that conference, lands that were supposed to go back to the people who are deprived of those lands were actually abrogated and denied by independent government. So that was the first time that the Kenyan lost the opportunity to actually bring all the Kenyans together. Honorable Speaker, after independence, there were piecemeal amendments. In 1996, there was the attempt to change the constitution to stop President Moi from taking over the leadership of this country. Fortunately, it failed because the founding president actually blocked it. In 1992, Honorable Speaker, there was the change of Section 2A of the Constitution to reintroduce multipartyism. Now, in 2010, we had the Constitution, which was very progressive, and it is still there, which was said to be 80% perfect and 20% problematic. And I think that was one of the issues that was supposed to be resolved. When we come to now, as my colleagues have said, this is a moment that must not pass us. And I would like to request my colleagues to debate this matter with the sobriety that is really meant for any leader worth his salt. Honorable Speaker, this is not a political competition at the moment. It's not a matter of who is right and who is wrong. It is a matter of how do we bring our people together? How do we ensure that that segregation that has been there for so long is actually vanquished? Honorable Speaker, I have heard of Wanjiko, and maybe I can also introduce Naserian for the Maasai people. I actually represent the Narok North constituency. And my instructions as Gachagua from his own constituency is that I support this bill. Why did they say that I support it? Because the first two proponents, who are actually Kenyan citizens like anybody else, the president of this country, Uhuru Kenyatta, the former Prime Minister, Raila Odinga, as I have said, are also citizens like me and anybody else, came together to bring this country together. Honorable Speaker, I remember when we went to welcome Honorable Raila Odinga at the airport one time, the kind of death that we witnessed on the streets of Nairobi is something that should never be repeated. And so when they came together, my people and my community at large actually realized that time for them to stand with these people is now. Why do I say that? These are the two giants of the Kenyan political scene. They are the ones who can actually bring this country together. And when they brought this initiative, and there was public participation, the Kenyan people agreed with them, and several issues were brought to the fore that have been actually polarizing this country. Honorable Speaker, when I hear my colleagues say that there was no consultation, I'm shocked because, as far as I'm concerned, the team that actually initiated this process went all over the country, but unfortunately, some of the Kenyan people decided to boycott those hearings. So one cannot boycott a hearing and then come now and say they are not included or they are not consulted. I think that one is not the right thing to do, and I think it's hypocritical. Honorable Speaker, there are many issues, and I would like now to go to the substance of the amendments. One of them is actually the extra 70 constituencies. Narok is getting 3. We are supporting it because the resources will increase, will assist our people. The only problem is the people of Narok must decide for themselves the boundaries of these constituencies. they must decide for themselves how they want to be governed. Because we have seen a tendency these days that people from elsewhere come and carve for themselves areas to contest at the expense of the local people. And I think the most important thing is that the local people's interest must be taken care of. So if anybody believes that they are a majority at a particular place, they can disenfranchise the people of Narok or anywhere else, I believe then that we are not fostering peace. We are actually trying to create a situation whereby there will be bad blood and eventually the flare-up of clashes, which we have stopped since 2007. So I'll just like to maybe caution that even when you create these consequences, let it be for the people, for the ordinary and the local people, not necessarily for other people. Because when you look at these consequences, Narok, for example, has 3. Some countries have 6. Yet the same counties with 6 want to come and take part of those. For example, if you have 3 in Narok, you want to take 1 or 2, then where are the local people left? If you go to Kajiado, there are 3. The local people are denied those 3. How do you do it? You go to Eldoret to do the same thing. Then how do you foster peace as far as that one is concerned? So I support, but it must be an initiative of the local people. Honorable Speaker, we have seen that now there is an opportunity for the marginalized people, the disabled, the women, or the women gender, and others, the Maasai, for example, who have been marginalized since independence, have a chance now to also play a bigger role as far as the issues affecting this country politically, economically, and socially. They now have a chance to actually also participate. So I believe if we can actually ensure, when it comes to employment, that each community, as long as somebody is qualified, gets an opportunity to serve the country, then I think there will be no reason for any misunderstanding. Because let us be honest. There is something that destroys a country. The moment there is an opportunity of employment, and it's the same names that appear in every employment opportunity, then I think it creates a situation whereby some people feel, or some communities feel, that they've been left out. Because you must realize we are equal as far as this is concerned. So when you talk about cohesion, it's important that from now on, we ensure that this constitution protects it equally. Because let us also look at it this way. We can make constitutions, and if there is no goodwill on the part of the leadership to ensure that what they do is constitutional, then of course it will be meaningless. Because what is important is applicability, is the implementation of those things to affect and to benefit all Kenyans, not necessarily a particular section. Honorable Speaker, we have talked about peace. We have talked about peace. And peace can only be there if there is justice, if there is fair play. Like, for example, in the last election, there was a clear manifestation of rigging, whereby people were deciding, we want to elect so-and-so, and somebody else there manipulates the computer and makes his own appointment as far as this is concerned. So what happens in such situations? So we must ensure that the electoral process is fair, it is just, and the choice of the people is respected, not the choice of political pundits. When it comes to the issue of leadership, Honorable Speaker, we have said severally here and elsewhere that we have lost leadership as far as the cabinet is concerned. Why am I saying that? The ordinary person cannot access a cabinet secretary because this one is a stranger. It is somebody who has come from nowhere. He has no link and he has no connection with the people of Kenya. So when we bring the cabinet back to the people's elected representatives, then I think we are going somewhere, because these are the people who are actually elected. These are the people who are respected. These are the people who are trusted by the Kenyan people. So I think the issue of bringing the cabinet back to parliament is one of the things that has been the view and has been the wish of most of the Kenyan people. In fact, when you look at also the Prime Minister's position, and I think even those people who are opposing this thing should think twice, because they might be getting an opportunity to survive Because when you look at the leader of opposition, that person is going to be number 3 in parliament. So I believe, because there will be, of course, winners and losers, I believe it's important that we embrace this so that those who lose will be able at least to survive as leader of opposition. In any case, when you talk about the prime minister, you talk about 2 deputy prime ministers, we are not actually burdening the Kenyan people. We are actually lessening the burden, because it will be a concentrated government whereby you'll be a parliamentarian and at the same time a minister. So you are not going to have a cabinet secretary outside and then you have an MP in parliament. So I think it's actually a reduction of the cost, and it will also expand the opportunities for many Kenyans. Because if, for example, the president is from Central or from Rift Valley or from elsewhere, then of course the people of the coast will get the opportunity to either have a prime minister or a deputy prime minister or something like that. So you will realize that there is a bigger pool to tap from, and this one will actually bring satisfaction to the people. Honorable Speaker, there is the issue of counties. We always say that we have brought services, or you have taken services closer to the people. I know with good management, the kind of resources we are now taking back to the counties will ensure that the resources in this country actually reach the electorate down there. The wards are actually the axis of development. It's a political axis of any county, and MCAs have actually been delegated to the periphery by governors. So when we give them a certain amount of money, 35% ward allocation, then of course now they'll be able to do something. When we take 35% of the resources to the counties, then definitely that one will also create a wider development scope, and I think it's going to be of benefit to the people of Kenya. We have also talked about the issue of petitions, and I think when you expand the time for the petitions against the president being heard within 30 days, then of course it will ensure that there is adequate preparation for the resolution of this matter. And actually there will be no unnecessary tension, there will be no unnecessary delay in determining these matters, and it's actually going to make Kenya a bit peaceful as such. There is also the issue of petitions from parliamentarian such. In fact, when you drag, for example, an elected member of parliament through the processes from the High Court to the Court of Appeal to the Supreme Court, you are destroying that person financially and even politically. So I think the fact that we are going to have this matter finalized at the Court of Appeal really means that it will save a lot of resources and time to determine these matters. Honorable Speaker, in closing, I would like to just say that my colleagues who are with us, those who are not siding with us, must come to the realization that these constitutional amendments are of benefit to this country. They are not politically motivated, and we should actually stand and say, as the Kenyan Parliament, this is what our people want, not this is what our masters want. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Kitui Central. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I want also to make my contribution to this important bill, the Constitution of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. And as part of my opening remarks, Honorable Speaker, I want to start by thanking the committee, the joint committee, which looked at this bill and did a very detailed report. Honorable Speaker, I must confess I've looked at this report, and I can actually say it's a good report. It provides a lot of information which will help in adding value to this important bill. Honorable Speaker, this bill is not perfect. I want to start by saying that. It has some very progressive proposals, but at the same time, Honorable Speaker, I think there are areas which to me, as a member of parliament for Kitui Central, and as somebody coming from Kitui County, I would say I'm not happy with. So as I make my contribution, Honorable Speaker, I will be able to point out areas which I think I'm not happy with. I want to start, Honorable Speaker, with Clause 3 of this bill. Clause 3 of this bill, Honorable Speaker, talks about economy and shared prosperity. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the history of this country and try to analyze why some Kenyans say they don't belong to this country, is because of what I will call inequitable distribution of national resources. And to me, Honorable Speaker, this is one of the things which have meant a number of Kenyans feel like being marginalized. When you look at Clause 3, the issue of economy and shared prosperity, Honorable Speaker, to me this is very progressive. Honorable Speaker, I want to state in this House that the county where I come from, Kitui County, we have been having a Class B road, which has remained untarmacked since independence. It is only this year, Honorable Speaker, now that this road has been done. And Honorable Speaker, I must say, really appreciate His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta for seeing the need to tarmac this road, because his government has supported tarmacking of this road. So, Honorable Speaker, and I see this clause talking about shared prosperity. To me, it makes a lot of sense. And this is very attractive to me and the people I lead, Honorable Speaker. Because, Honorable Speaker, if you look at Part C of that clause, it talks about sustainable sources of livelihood. It says the state shall promote sustainable sources of livelihood, including agriculture, pastoralism, and the blue economy. And the D of it says the state will promote, or shall, meaning it's mandatory, promote an economic system that supports small and micro enterprises. Honorable Speaker, our county is very rich with mineral resources, Honorable Speaker, and they are not exploited. So to me, when I look at this clause, the clause is saying the state shall make sure that these resources are exploited for the benefit of our people. And to me, this is very attractive. And I will be supporting this bill because of this particular clause, because it's going to empower our people economically, and it's going to be really of much help to our people. Honorable Speaker, the other matter I want to raise is the matter of representation, Honorable Speaker. We have been told we are increasing the number of MPs to 360. Some members are saying to go to about 600 and that. And there is this argument, Honorable Speaker, about the cost of these positions. And Honorable Speaker, I think we need to be honest as honorable members. People need to take time and do a proper analysis of this proposal matters cost. Because, Honorable Speaker, from where I sit and where I stand, Honorable Speaker, when you analyze the cost implication of these additional positions, Honorable Speaker, there are high chances that actually the country will be saving money. And this can be proved through analysis of data, Honorable Speaker. Because we are saying we are now bringing ministers to this House and assistant ministers to this House, Honorable Speaker, and the truth of the matter is this will be members of Parliament. So they will only get additional allowance possibly so as when they become ministers. And we'll be doing away with the 22 CSs who are earning full salary, Honorable Speaker. We will be doing away with 42 chief administrative secretaries who are earning salaries. And if you do that mathematics quickly, Honorable Speaker, there are high chances that actually you'll be saving. And I've taken time to look at this salary. And I must say, Honorable Speaker, at the end of the day, Honorable Speaker, the issue of cost to me should really not be a major issue. Because when you look at the total budget, Honorable Speaker, this Parliament, at the end of the day, hardly takes more than 1.5% of the total budget. So, looking at that, Honorable Speaker, to me, I think the issue of cost doesn't make sense to me much. And thus, I want to tie that, Honorable Speaker, with the issue of corruption. The Auditor General, Honorable Speaker, every year informs this House that we lose about a third of our budget, which is about $1 trillion, Honorable Speaker, to misapplication, misdirection, and corruption issues, Honorable Speaker. And if we were to sort out the issues of corruption, Honorable Speaker, even the 10 billion we are talking about, the referendum, Honorable Speaker, will be a drop in the sea. Because, Honorable Speaker, much more money is being spent or misused through corruption as compared to what we are likely to use to take care of this document. And all said and done, Honorable Speaker, we are talking about promoting peace and unity of this country. I don't see us achieving that, Honorable Speaker, by having Kenyans having no sense of belonging, that we belong to this country, because the more we remain divided, Honorable Speaker, as a country, the more we are likely to continue losing resources. Because after every election, there will be chaos, we will waste time, we will have no business, people will not do their work, and as a result of that, we will also be losing resources, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want now to some extent, Honorable Speaker, talk about the financial issues captured in this bill, which to me I think they are very progressive. Honorable Speaker, if you look at clause 12, it talks about the Senate taking over the issue of ensuring accountability in terms of county on revenue generated resources, Honorable Speaker. So at that level, it means now the Senate, other than just looking at what comes from the national government, it is going to look at what the counties are generating at their level and ensure that there is accountability, and at the same time also look at the expenditure part of that revenue. So, Honorable Speaker, to me, I think if this is done correctly, it's going to help this country in terms of financial management. The second point, Honorable Speaker, which I think is very important, is the issue of the county assembly fund. Honorable Speaker, our county assemblies are at the mercy of the governors and the executive. And, Honorable Speaker, of late, there are even cases where our MCRs are not getting salaries because the governor decided they cannot pay. And to me, I think this financial autonomy, what I call independence, Honorable Speaker, will go a long way in ensuring that our county assemblies, Honorable Speaker, do their work effectively. But for now, there are some of them who are being told, if you don't do 1, 2, 3, we are not going to give you money. So, Honorable Speaker, I want really to say this is a progressive recommendation because we want to see our county assemblies being independent matters financial. The other thing, Honorable Speaker, is important in this bill is the issue of the time release of resources. Honorable Speaker, over time, there has been a lot of delay in releasing money to the counties, and more so when there are challenges to do with the division of revenue bill. If we don't pass the DORA in time, there has always been a delay. This bill is proposing, Honorable Speaker, that now, once we pass this bill, counties will have to get their money, whether this House has passed DORA or not. What are they proposing? They are proposing, if there is a delay in passing DORA, then counties should be able to be given money on the basis of 50% of what was allocated in the previous year. And to me, I think this sorts the issue of the delay. The other thing is happening, Honorable Speaker, I think is important, is also the issue of the CARA. They are saying where the county revenue allocation bill is late, Honorable Speaker, they are saying then the counties will also be able to access 50% based on what they approved the previous year. And this also does allow the counties to prepare their budgets on the basis of not DORA, but their budget on the basis of all what they have as local needs. And I think to me this is very important, Honorable Speaker. So this is something which to me is also progressive. The other point, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of the 15% of that 5% increase for county allocation. Resources going to the county. Honorable Speaker, the truth of the matter is, when we say 15%, anything additional is at the discretion of whoever is ruling. When we say minimum of that 5, it means there's no discretion. So whoever comes in, and we don't care who will come in, so that 5% of that money will have to go to the counties. And for some of us who come from counties where we have been in opposition for a long time, Honorable Speaker, I think this is very critical. We want to get our share, and let us now deal with our local issues in terms of who is the governor, whether the governor is misappropriating resources or not. But the fact that the money will flow to the county, irrespective of whether you are voted for the ruling party or not, to me that is a positive for this country. And I think I really want to urge people to support this. Because, Honorable Speaker, we don't know who is going to be in the opposition today, and who's going to be in the government tomorrow. Today you are in the government, tomorrow you are likely to be in the opposition. So let's support this because it's ensured that at least that 5% of the resources find their way to the counties, Honorable Speaker. The other point, Honorable Speaker, is the World Development Fund. To me, Honorable Speaker, the World Development Fund is very important. Very, very important. Because IMCs who never see eye to eye with the governors. And as a result of that, they have been actually marginalized, those particular wards. So with this, Honorable Speaker, we are now very sure that every ward in every county will be able to access some minimum resources to do development in the ward. And this is also applicable to CDF. Honorable Speaker, we have so many cases against CDF. And these cases have been in court. People claiming CDF is not constitutional. Now that we are pushing CDF to be part of the constitution, and that is now clause 52, Honorable Speaker, of this bill, by the fact that we pass this clause 52, then nobody will go to court claiming CDF is not constitutional. And to me, Mr. Speaker, I still believe, as a Kenyan, CDF still remains the most effective fund in terms of ensuring that Kenyans get value for money for all the development projects and programs. And I would really want to wish members support this so that CDF becomes part of our constitution and it continues helping us, our people. Honorable Speaker, let me talk about the issue of the politics around this bill, the issue of the gender equality, where we have been told, Honorable Speaker, there will be additional slots for people, as the 7 slots take care of the gender issues. But one worrying thing, Honorable Speaker, and which I don't agree with as a person, is this statement which talks about equality of the vote, which means, Honorable Speaker, the focus here now is all on population. But the constitution is very clear, Honorable Speaker, that even as you create constituencies, there are other factors which must be considered. Area of what we call geographical area, and even other factors which are in the constitution. So when you only talk about equality of the vote, Honorable Speaker, to me, I think we have been unfair to areas like where I come from, where we are not very many in terms of numbers, but we have very huge tracts of land, which cannot be ignored. Because, Honorable Speaker, if you are going to deliver development in such an area, you require more resources in terms of logistics and all that. The other thing, Honorable Speaker, and this is what I don't agree is, Honorable Speaker, personally, I don't agree with this Schedule 2. I've looked at it. I've analyzed, Honorable Speaker, and I've looked at it statistically. Honorable Speaker, I must confirm that there is no scientific method which has been used to come up with this schedule. Kitui County has 1.35 population, people in terms of population. We didn't get even a single constituency. And Honorable Speaker, we are saying we want to pass this, but it should be the work of IBC to do delimitation so that it is done in a scientific manner without ignoring any part. The other one I want to say is even Kitui County is very big. We have always been demanding for an additional county, and we continue demanding for an additional county because we think for our people to get services,